Are you in insurance sales and you're touching Facebook leads and you're finding yourself insanely frustrated by them? Well, you found the right video. I'm going to help you understand how to handle these amazing leads so that you can have increased levels of profitability. So many insurance agents don't know how to handle a Facebook lead and they become increasingly frustrated. They get an internet lead and they just let it fall through their fingers like trying to hold water in your hands. Let me share with you 4 tips that are going to help you remove the frustration and find tremendous success. So I'm going to drop this content to you, and I appreciate my subscribers that have asked this question, and I'm going to deliver the content to you today. 4 things you're going to need to know to take it to the next level when you're handling Facebook leads. And before I dive into this with you, jasonfinalexpense.com, I'm so blessed to partner and recruit agents across this nation. We sell life, Medicare, and annuities face-to-face, but more importantly, in the telespace. So if you need any free resources, they're there on my website for the taking, and I appreciate you joining with me today, and thank you to my subscriber for asking this question. So tip number 1 is when you touch a Facebook lead, if you want to find success, you got to work it fast. Yes, fast. Okay. When that lead comes in, that Facebook lead, that SEO lead, that internet lead comes in, you've got to get after it quickly. And I mean, right away, right now, get to the closest point that you'll ever get to the sense of urgency. And that's when they clicked the ad. Okay. When you're understanding how a Facebook lead works, I'll give you a little history of a Facebook lead. It populates in your news feed. Most of you watching this content today probably have a Facebook account. Well, if you typed in purple radishes, okay, pink purses, pink bow and arrows, whatever your jam is, all you're going to see is just an ad, most likely for the next week or 2, of what you put in the search bar. This is how Facebook works, and you can find yourself frustrated because you have maybe an exclusive lead, maybe a good lead, but what happens is their news feed starts getting gummed up, okay, with lots of other ads. So you've got to get on that lead right away. And I mean right away. Facebook leads, you got to move fast. Tip number 1, you've got to resolve that lead that came in, and it requires speed from you. If you want to resolve the lead, it requires speed. As soon as that lead comes in, get after it. Go. Work like you're going to go broke if you don't get after it. You've got to understand that a Facebook lead is like an avocado. The moment that lead gets in your hands, it gets cut, okay? And it turns brown quickly if you don't move quickly. And I mean fast. So tip number 1, the most important thing that I can share with you is move quickly with a Facebook lead. It's populated fast, and guess what? You got to get on it quickly, or the buyer intent starts dropping. Not good. So tip number 2 that I'll share with you is you've got to call a lot. You can't just call a Facebook lead or an internet lead once and be like, well, I called them and they didn't pick up. I'm done with this. You can't do this. If you don't call that lead, you know somebody else will. All right. If you don't call that lead, somebody else is going to make the wealth. We do so much work. All right. So much work with aged leads that have been Facebook sourced, SEO sourced. It's amazing because there's agents that just don't call a lot. They'll call once or twice and then they're done. If you don't call, always remember somebody else will. And remember, that algorithm on that news feed for that Facebook lead is being populated with an insane amount of final expense ads, an insane amount of Medicare ads. That's how the algorithm works. That is how it works. So if you don't click and start working, okay, you're going to get whooped. If you don't call that lead, someone else will. No excuses. If you don't call that lead, it becomes an aged lead. That lead turns, like I said, like an avocado. You've got to be intentional. You got to call a lot, not just once. Call a couple times in the course of your day. Call like I've got that lead and I'm coming after you. Call that lead like somebody else in your agency got access to it. It'll take you off your hands and into an environment where you start helping that consumer get on that phone with you. And that means call a lot. Pretend like someone else has that lead because a Facebook lead is populated in that news feed. And if you don't get to it, someone else is going to fill another final expense form out, another Medicare insurance form out. And guess what? You're going to find increased frustration because you didn't call a lot. You can't call just once. And then you'd be like, well, they didn't call me back. That's not how final expense Facebook leads work. It just isn't. So you've got to call with an insane level of intensity. You've got to call If you don't, always remember somebody else will. So pretend like somebody else got that lead, because guess what? They probably do if you're dealing with a Facebook lead. That's why there's other leads out there that are more profitable, but Facebook leads are cheap. They're fast. Okay. Think about them like fast food. They're cheap and they're fulfilled fast, but okay, you got to work them a little different. Okay. So understand, call a lot. Tip number 2. Tip number 3 that I'll share with you, and I hope you like this content, is you need to change your times up. Don't call at the same time every day. You've got to call at different times. You got to kind of bob and weave. Okay. Maybe these great people sleep in a lot. Maybe they're up late at night. You just don't know, but you've got to be really on point here. And that means changing your times up so that it's almost like a system disruptor. You're going click, click. I'm coming at you from a different time. Okay. You can use multiple phone lines. If you own these phone lines, it's amazing. Maybe try changing it up that way, but you've got to change your times up. You got to change your numbers up at times. Okay. Purchase another phone number, get after it. Okay. But keep calling. Okay. Call. Point number 2 here, keep calling if you want to capitalize. First tip, call fast right away. When that lead comes in, boom, 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 boom. Start calling, get a hold of them and be ready. But tip number 3, you got to change your times up. But 100%, okay, if your success is based on your effort, if you want to engage at the next level, you've got to change your times up. You got to call a lot. Facebook leads take more calls to get them to pick up. It's part of the jam. And if you're being fed a web of lies, okay, about, oh, just book your Calendly, let me share with you a final expense clientele base, a Medicare Advantage, okay, clientele base is going to leave you hung out to dry. You can have a calendar full and you'll be lucky to get half of them that actually show up. So understand, you got to change the times up. You're dealing with a person that is really good at procrastinating. If you want to be profitable with Facebook leads, tip number 1, always adhere to that call fast. And I mean fast. Tip number 2, call a lot. And then tip number 3, you got to change your times up. You just do. Start changing your times up, okay? Even a basketball player can't, run the same path. Football players can't run the same path every day or they're going to get slammed because they know what you're doing in football, right? If you want to be more diligent, be more profitable, start changing your times up so you don't see where you're coming from. It's like, oh, why is that number calling me at 2 p.m? This is weird, okay? Change your times up. You'll see that you'll get more pickups, all right? Tip number 4 that I'll share with you is I can't dial for you, okay? If you want to dominate in the telespace, you want to dominate the face-to-face play, call a couple days in a row. And if you're a face-to-face insurance agent, go knock that door. If you're a telesales agent, just keep calling. Change your phone number up like we talked about and just go call it again. You got to dial and be diligent about it. And if you sit on it, you're not going to get any sales. This is a hustle industry. Those that do are those that get, and those that don't are those that won't. So think about your lead like milk. If you leave milk out, guess what? It's going to sour quickly. Well, the moment that they fill out that lead, whether it's auto-populated, and some of these leads that you buy, they're garbage, okay? So if you need good Facebook leads, or if you want to make your own Facebook leads, reach out. I'll serve you with that. jasonfinalexpense.com. I'll get you some free resources, but you need good Facebook leads where they're a funneled lead. A funneled lead means that the client actually used their fingers and typed in some information about the beneficiaries. Do they smoke? Things of that nature. It's so important that in that funnel, the prospect is kind of being nurtured, okay, in that process as they're filling it out, the form. A lot of these Facebook leads, you could barely sneeze on your keyboard and just go, there, it got populated, and you don't even know what information got put in there. There's almost no buyer intent. So if you want better Facebook leads, make sure you're using a good one that is highly funneled. And I'll put some information at the top of this video as well for some good lead vendors. But let me share with you, you've got to dial Facebook leads. You've got to be diligent. Remember how the lead was filled out. Remember, somebody else is coming for your lunch money. They're going to take your opportunity away if you don't call fast, okay? You got to get there first. It's so important to your success and survival with a Facebook lead. Now, if you're calling some internet lead that maybe your IMO is selling you, be careful. If they make you put it into their CRM, why? There's no reason that your IMO should ever have access to the leads in your CRM ever. And I mean ever, unless they're paying for all of them and you're captive. And then you can see other content on that. But change your times up, call a lot, and dial. Be diligent about your dialing. Yes, it's a grind, but if you want to make the gold, you got to dig through some dirt to find it, right? So understand, Get after it quickly. Don't sit on your leads. Be successful by having sustained intentionality in everything you do and in everything that you say. So when they pick up, do you have the playbook? Do you have the playbook to make it with Facebook leads? If you don't, my goodness, you're going to need a good proven power script. You're going to need some rebuttal techniques so that you can take it to the next level when they do pick up. It's so important. So if you want to have higher levels of profitability with Facebook leads, call fast, call right away. Tip number 2, call a lot. Tip number 3, change your times up, change your numbers up, and just dominate the phones. And my goodness, don't sit on those leads. Be successful, but even milk, when it's left out, will sour. You've got to get after these Facebook leads quickly. They're not like other lead platforms that have a longer shelf life. I hope this helps you be successful today. And when you find yourself frustrated, I hope these tips help you through it, because you can make crazy levels of success. You will have higher verticals than you ever thought possible if you will take these tips to heart. And when it comes to leaving, voicemails, when it comes to leaving texts, make sure you've got opt-in permission. Make sure you have opt-in permission on that lead. Most Facebook lead vendors do, that we use for sure, but make sure it's there. And then don't text leads, don't email leads. Only do that as a last ditch resort after you've had that lead in your hands for about 60 days, because the moment you leave a voicemail saying, "Hi, this is Jason, I'm here to sell you life insurance," click, blocked number will take place. And if you leave a bunch of voicemails all day long, how many more people could you have called? How much more capitalization could you have by resolving the absolute need that lead has from you? So don't leave voicemails, don't leave texts, just take it to the next level. Keep smiling and dialing. Yes, it's a grind, but always remember, you want to make the gold, get into that dirt and love it. I hope you have a great day and a better tomorrow. If I can serve you in any way, reach out, jasonfinalexpense.com. I hope this content helps you today. Have a good one. We'll see you soon. I appreciate you.